What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph!
You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey, everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, okay, making their debut on the channel tonight, we have the Police. Yes, indeed. How about that? The Police making their debut on the channel. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all the clicks and the likes and the bibbity bot, do me a favor before you do all that stuff. Please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Archdemon, and Archdemon wanted to see me react to this song by the Police called So Lonely. Now, have I heard this song before? I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you, folks. I'm not 100% sure. I know the Police have had a number of hits. Some of them more well-known than others, but I don't know if this was a big hit for them or not, and I don't know with any certainty whether I've heard this or not. There's a chance. I mean, there's always a chance I may have heard it in passing. I may have heard the song and I didn't even realize it, so I don't know. We're going to have to kind of play this one by ear, but I'm not going to say with any certainty whether I've heard the song or not either way. We're going to just kind of play it by ear and find out. Let's see, but I will say, if I start to hear the song and I go, wait a second, yeah, I've heard this song before, I'll let you know.
That's the truth.
You know me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let's see, this was posted by Priscilla SC. Sure, why not? And the video has 16,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. The Police, So Lonely, HQ. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Well, someone told me yesterday that when you show your love away, you act as if you just don't care. You look as if you're going somewhere, but I just can't convince myself I couldn't live with no one else, and I can only play that part and sit and nurse my broken heart. So lonely, so lonely, so lonely, so now no one's knocked upon my door
That's actually pretty smart.
for 1,000 years or more.
Okay. So, they really set me up, boy. Okay, first of all, I have not heard the song before. This does not sound familiar at all. They really did a good job of setting me up. With that whole verse, the elongated verse, in what I thought was a straight time feel with a laid back kind of reggae beat to it, a kind of a reggae feel, but in a straight time. No, No, it was not. It was halftime because when we went into what I believe was the chorus, we switched to a straight time feel. Snare on 2 and on 4, as opposed to the snare on 3, which is on that halftime feel with that reggae feel. Man, they set me up, boy. And I bit down on that hook. Absolutely, I did. And they reeled me right in. It feels good. It felt good. That whole section, that transition into that, from the halftime feel into that straight time feel, it felt good. It was a little, I'm not going to lie, it was a little jarring, but jarring in a good way. It was like, oh, here's that double shot of espresso you asked for. Boom! Ho ho! Hey, we're flying. You know, it was like that, man. And now we bring it back down again. Okay, cool. I've heard. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys because I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like, oh, I've been listening to the Police for a long time and I've been following them forever. No, I haven't. I know there's a couple of songs that they had that were big hits, and honestly, that's about all I know about them. I have heard, however, from people that they were, I don't want to say notorious, but they really kind of made their they kind of made their bones by borrowing. I guess the best way to put it is borrowing from reggae music a lot and incorporating a lot of reggae feel into 80s rock sound. I don't know if that's accurate or not. I've only heard, like I guess there's this is one of the songs that I've heard that does that. And there's another song, I don't remember the name of it, but there's another song by the Police that I've heard that has a reggae feel to it as well. So I have a question, and the question is this. Police fans, is that true? Do these guys use reggae feels and reggae direction and reggae sounds a lot? Do they really try to bring that hybrid feel together as often as possible? Or was it just like 2 or 3 songs and that was it? I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I'm open in the comments. People can kind of fill in the blanks and let me know, because I would really like to know from actual fans of the Police. Not by hearsay from people who I don't know if they know the Police or not. They don't strike me as they're big fans of the Police, but maybe they were back in the day. I don't know. I have no idea. Anyway, let's keep going here, shall we? Let's see what else these guys got.
All made up and nowhere to go. Welcome to this one-night show. Just take a seat, they're always free. No surprise, no mystery. In this theater that I call my soul, I always play the starring role.
So it's like we got a guitar solo. So they follow the same suit. Long verse, really getting you into the groove, that halftime feel. And then when they were ready, they kicked into that chorus, boy, and that straight time feel took off like a shot. I like those accents on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah, at the end of each phrase in the chorus. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and yeah, I like that. Very, very accented, very definite. Very much putting the exclamation point at the end of this phrase is over. We're going back and starting over again. Very effective. Very simple, but very effective. I like that. I absolutely like that. The vocal harmonies, I meant to talk about this on the first pause. The vocal harmonies are nice. And I like the fact that they're keeping them to this one section. It's not vocal harmonies from start to finish. If that had been the case, it would have been way overdone. And it would have, the harmonies honestly would have lost their shine because they would have become commonplace. So nice usage of harmonies, and the harmonies sound good to boot. So nice job overall. Let's keep going. Guitar solo, I think. Ooh, modulation. Nice way to disguise it with a reggae feel. I mean, 80s were notorious for linear fades, so I'm not surprised whatsoever they had a linear fade at the song. The end of the song with that linear fade doesn't surprise me one bit, but it's kind of a shame because considering the direction of the song, the pacing of the song, the energy of the song, it could have really benefited from a much more definite ending. Maybe coming along. Something like that, you know, where they take that turnaround of the upbeat, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 4, boom, you know, and just have it end on that downbeat of 1. I think that would have been a much more effective and powerful ending. But like I said, in the 80s, everybody, and I mean everybody, was linear fading. It was a crazy time, man. That's the norm. How do you want it? Hey, Chief, how do you want to end the song? Same way we always do, the linear fade. It works. Why do you want to change the horse mid-race? Come on, we're winning. Anyway, I already know. We had 30 seconds left in the song, and I already knew exactly what I was going to say. So let's transition over. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was The Police with So Lonely. This was a request from Archdemon. okay, I got a score here, and I had this score in my head, seriously 30 seconds out, but before the song even ended, I had this score in my head, and it didn't change. I didn't need to think about it. I said, I'll see you there and we'll talk about it. And I took about 30 seconds and I gave it some thought, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I wasting my time? We already know what the score is going to be. So let's just stick to it. It's the score that makes the most sense. And let's just stick with it. So here we are. Now, before I give the score, there's going to be, there might be some controversy here. Some people might get butthurt. And I really hope that's not the case. Because I have a score, and I have lots of things I could use to back it up. So, and I intend to show how I came up with the score, absolutely. So, before anybody loses their heads and, cries foul, listen to what I have to say, and I promise you, my score will make perfect sense. And you will see it's not because of any outside forces, okay? So let's get to that score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that an 8.2. Yup, 8.2. I feel good about that score. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first. In 8.2, what does that mean? Well, in 8.2 would translate to a great scale rating because overall, I think this is a great song. It would also get 4 to 5 stars and an A- letter grade. Yeah, an A-. So there you go, an 8.2, great skill rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. Before we go any further, anybody that has the thought, the idea of going into the comments and making accusations of you're giving them that score just because they're the police. You're giving them that score just because they're a legendary band and you don't want to upset any of their fan base. You're giving them that score out of bias. Let me tell you something, folks. Number one, it's my channel. I can do whatever I want. Number two, if you've been watching this channel for any amount of time, you know that's not true. I hold every single band, every single artist to the exact same criterias as every other band. I don't care if you're the Police. I don't care if you're Nightwish. I don't care if you're Baby Metal. I don't care if you're Pearl Jam. I don't care if you're the GRP All-Star Band. I don't care if you're Death Clock. I don't care if you're Apocalyptica. I don't care if you're any of the country artists that I've done on the channel. I don't care who you are. You could be Johnny Nobody and the Never Will Be's. I do not care. I'm gonna look at every artist, every act, every band, and hold them to the exact same criteria that I hold every other band. Now, some bands have higher standards than other bands on the channel because they've earned those higher standards. But by that token, yeah, they have a much higher standing on the channel. You're absolutely right. But I'm also a lot tougher on those bands. It's a lot harder for those bands that have got all those 8s and 9s. It's a lot harder for them to get 8 and 9s now because they have set a bar for themselves. Well, the Police have never been on the channel before. This is their first time. So I'm going to go in with a completely blank slate with them, which I did. And I got to say, I was very pleasantly surprised. Comparatively to some of the other songs I've heard by the Police, I think I've heard 2 other songs from them. This song, it definitely stood out. A lot of great things happening in this tune. First of all, taking 2 completely different styles of music and putting them together in a very conducive way. That, folks, that's not easy to do. It's not. There's definitely a certain level of impressiveness there. I know what was played, the drum pattern that was played in the reggae section. and the drum pattern that was played in the straight ahead rock section. I know neither of those patterns were necessarily all that impressive, but how he was able to come up with two distinct different patterns, one representing one style of music and one representing another, and put them side, not even side by side, front to back, because the song moves forward. So putting them back to back, well, here's, the first cut, the first, however many measures we did, 32 measures, I think, in that halftime reggae feel to a straight ahead rock feel, and made it work without it sounding disjointed, without it sounding displaced, without it sounding like two completely different songs. Well, that is, I hate to say it, that is impressive. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Same thing can be said for the guitar playing. Same thing can be said for the bass playing. All working together to make those transitions as smooth as possible, to make all the parts as conducive as possible to each other. So at the end of the day, when you have your finished song, it sounds like one song, not two or three or five or however many moving parts you have in your song. That was extremely well done. I gotta tip the cap to them on that. What they were playing, like as far as notation goes, like I said, as far as the drum pattern goes, I wouldn't necessarily say that was all that impressive. That was actually pretty simple, but how they made it all mesh together, that was impressive. Absolutely. It all sounded good. There was nothing that stuck out like a sore thumb. The vocal work on this. I know Sting's the vocalist and the bassist. I know. His vocals, very distinct, very fitting. It works, and his vocal style works with both styles of music that we heard. We heard it when the reggae section kicked in, his vocal style switched a little bit to fit the format. When they went to the straight ahead rock section, again, vocal style switched a little bit to fit the format, but not switching so far that it became separate. Again, not easy to do. You gotta tip the cap. The modulation on the guitar solo. Number one, I didn't see it coming. Number two, after the guitar solo was over, we went back into the main part of the song again. We stayed up there. We didn't come back down. I was expecting us to come back down again to our original roots, and we didn't. We stayed up. We stayed up on the, I believe we were on the E instead of the D. That was interesting. I didn't see that coming. I thought for sure we would go back down again. It would have made sense. But staying up, it worked. It sounded just fine. The harmonies. I'm not gonna lie, there were a couple of moments when the harmonies were, in my opinion, starting to reach the threshold of good taste. Starting to creep up on the amount of usage in a way that might have taken away from the overall quality of the song. Don't get me wrong, I liked the harmonies. I did. I think the harmonies sounded great. Those three-part harmonies sounded rich. They sounded full. They were accurate. They were all in tune. But there is such a thing as too much of a good thing. And they were starting to creep up to the line of that territory of, is this in good taste or not? But here's the thing. They were approaching the line, yes, but they never touched it. They never crossed it. But there were a couple of times where I was like, okay, don't get me wrong, I love harmonies, I do, but that's enough. Let's keep it special. Let the harmonies keep their shine so we don't overuse them too much and they become dingy. You know what I mean? So there were a few times where I started to get a little nervous, but we never went to the danger zone, so I'm fine with it. This is how I'm coming up with that 8.2. My only gripe about the song, and I said this during the course of the reaction, the ending. Listen, I know the 80s were a time where everybody was doing linear fades. All of the big hits were doing linear fades. I know they were, I get it. But at the same time, this song had such potential for a strong ending. And I believe a strong ending would have greatly benefited the song, you know, if I'm being honest. I don't know if they ever played this live. If they did, I hope they took the ending that I suggested. Because that ending makes sense, you know, utilizing those offbeats, that the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, those accents, and repeating and repeating and repeating, and a 3, 4, 1, and end the song on 1 and just hold on that 1 and cut, you know. I think that would have been a very effective ending, a very powerful ending, the type of ending that you could just take the flag and stick it into the ground and declare yourself, you know, ruler of this territory. That type of a powerful statement ending. But instead, we got a linear fade. I mean, like I said, I understand it's the 80s, and, you know, everybody was doing it. Michael Jackson was doing it, and everybody followed suit. Michael Jackson is single-handedly responsible for the 80s. No, there's a big conspiracy theory about that. And, you know, I've heard that conspiracy theory. I've heard that discussion. And I personally think those people that think that are a bunch of quacks. But, I mean, they do bring up some points like that. But in any case, 8.2 for this song. Yeah, absolutely. And no, I am not giving them that score with any type of helping hand just because they're the legendary band, the Police. No, I could care less about their legendary status. That means absolutely nothing to me. Product is what matters to me. The application of product, the worth of the product. You know, that's what matters to me. I could care less who wrote it. This song could have been written by Johnny Nobody and the Never Will Be's. I still would have given it an 8.2 because that's just exactly what I feel the song deserves. I feel good about that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have an 8.2, which is a great scale rating, 4 to 5 stars, and an A- letter grade. Take your pick. I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hope that was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well, then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.